The detail is once again fairly fraught, Lorna. If we start with Israel and Lebanon, which is the first test of this deal, of course, different time zones around the world, it was done in the middle of the night from the Israeli perspective. So we've yet to see a full response from Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel, but the early indications are that the far right are not at all pleased, to put it mildly. They're saying this is a strategic defeat for Benjamin Netanyahu. As mentioned there, we've seen reports from the head of the, or tweets from the social media posts from the head of the Revolutionary Guard in Iran saying, we will never abandon Lebanon. Hezbollah has our backing, and that means that not only has the warfare against Lebanon got to stop, that borders have to be recognised, but also Israel has to withdraw to those borders. Now, that's the first big stumbling block. A lot of this, of course, we don't really know a lot of the details. As you said, there's talk of toll-free access to the Strait of Hormuz, but quite clearly the plan would involve Iran continuing to control that strait, even if there are not tolls. So a lot of details still to be clarified. For example, yes, Iran has recommitted on not having nuclear weapons, which it's always said, but there's no reference to the whole nuclear enrichment issue. Now, there's been some interviews that Donald Trump has given where he seems to be saying, oh, well, they'll only be allowed to enrich to a certain point. Now, that would seem a massive back down, but the story is still very jumbled. But I think the next 24 hours in particular to see what that Israeli response, because Israel is not a party to this deal.
Yeah, not mentioned at all. You and I have had some similar discussions to this over the past 4 months, haven't we? And it's gone nowhere. It just seems to me there's a long time between now and Friday.
It's a very long time.
Yeah.
As you say, I mean, we've all started to get whiplash from the turnarounds in Donald Trump's sleep patterns, if nothing else. So I think it is really sort of going to be a very long time. I mean, the only real breakthroughs in a way is that they have both said that they've got a deal and that there is a timeline for it to be signed. I think the thing that we also don't know about, but which will be crucial in all of this, is the role of the Gulf states. Now, we have seen this really interesting rise, not just in Pakistan, but in the role of Qatar, the role of the UAE, Saudi, all of these places, whether they do it up front or not, have had a big role. Turkey, they've had a big role to play. There's this big question about the possibility of Iranian funds being unfrozen and possibly a compensation deal. And the suggestion seems to be that the US might not be paying this compensation or releasing funds, but the UAE, where a lot of Iranian funds are frozen, may send those monies to Iran now. We've had very confident reports that money has already changed hands, and then that's been flatly denied by the UAE. So very hard to work out what's going on, but without a doubt there's a whole understructure here of negotiations and other players.
And this is the point, isn't it, Laura? Because this isn't actually a peace agreement. This is a memorandum of understanding. It's just a framework, and then what comes after that? Well, what does come after that?
Well, exactly. It's a memorandum of understanding about a framework, about a statement. It does your head in. I think the pragmatic assessment has got to be this isn't all done and dusted. All it really signals, I think, is that the US is unlikely now to engage in full-scale war again against Iran. But Israel, when that ceasefire in April was dealt with, just basically moved its sort of targets from Iran to Lebanon, and the bitterness and the intractability of the two sides there is not going to end. The Strait of Hormuz might sort of de-escalate, but Iran's still got a really big hold on it, and there's a real question mark about whether anything has been achieved.
There's a certain case as well of showmanship. I mean, who is going to stand in front of their population and say, we won.
Yeah, the great escalation now, if we thought it was at all possible, is in the spin element. It's interesting, you've got on one hand Donald Trump saying, I authorise the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, which, you know, most people would sort of suddenly go, wait a minute, I think that's the problem. On the other side, the Iranians are also playing that game very hard, but where they're probably playing it a little bit better is they have been releasing a bit more detail about the deal and doing it in their language. Now, you've got to sort of, you know, be sceptical about some of the terms that they've used, but that has given them the sort of strategic advantage in that area as well of framing the discussion that's been going on.
4 more days to see.
4 more sleeps.
4 more sleeps, yeah. Laura, thank you very much.